Hello and welcome to the MIBiG 4 Annotathon briefing videos. My name is Matthias Doetz, and today I will be showing you how to use the MIBiG Trello Board for coordination and how to create a new entry using the MIBiG Submission Portal. Keep in mind that the Submission Portal is still under preparation. What I will be showing you today is a first prototype, and the final layout may be different, but the overall concept will stay the same. So today I will be working on a hypothetical example, the BGC vancomycin from Streptomyces non-existensis. Let's assume that this BGC is a hybrid NRPS PKS, and I will try to create this entry. So first, let's take a look at the Trello board. This is what you see here. And as you have heard during the kickoff meetings, and also probably read in the protocols, this is what we are going to use to coordinate ourselves because it tells you who is currently working on what thing. So as you can see, it's separated in different columns, and each of these columns is a so-called list, and each list can have different cards. So for example, in the to-do column, there are, or to-do list, there are already different cards prepared. Some of them have been already reserved. I've seen that many of you have reserved BGCs or publications in the MIBiG paper collection, but you are not restricted only to these cards. You can also create them yourself. So there is, for example, in progress list. Here's the to review, in review, revision, and done. And the Trello board follows the Kanban principle, which allows you to track process of work by simply moving cards from the left to the right. Keep in mind, cards always go from left to the right, so you never move a card that is in progress back to do. So this is just the first introduction. Let's now try to create an entry. So I'll be working on vancomycin, and first of all, I have to check if this card maybe already exists here on the Trello board. For that, I go to filters and simply type in vancomycin. And as you can see, there is no cards, and that means it hasn't been created yet. Now I can clear the filters again, and I also go to the MIBiG repository here and check if vancomycin maybe already exists as a BGC in the repository. So vancomycin. And since it's a hypothetical example, of course, it doesn't exist. So now I'm pretty sure that nobody has so far worked with vancomycin, but just to be safe, and also because of good communication and coordination, I go to the MIBiG Slack and briefly announce that I'm working on vancomycin in both the interest groups for NRPS and also PKS, given that it's a hybrid NRPS PKS VGC. Having done so, I then create a new card. For that, I'm not going to add a card, but to this small icon next to it. And as you can see, the hover text already tells create from template, because for your convenience, we have created templates that already are prepared for creating new entries. Here we have different card templates. For example, existing entry. This is for entries that already exist in MIBiG. For example, if we want to do some changes or some bug fixes. And there are the other templates for the different types of BGCs. So we have, for example, one template for exotic BGCs, one for NRPS, PKS, RIP, and terpene BGCs. Given that vancomycin is a hybrid NRPS and PKS, we can choose either one of these. I will go with NRPS here. Then I will give an appropriate label. I will call it vancomycin BGC from Streptomyces non-existensis. Then I create a card. Now I have to find the card again, and again I can use filters for that. And as you can see, it has been created. Now I open the card by clicking on it, and then first step is to join this card, to reserve it for me. So to make sure that everybody sees this card has been claimed by me, and I don't want anybody to work on this at the moment. So for that, you can simply click on join, or you can go to members and then either search for your own name or simply click it. Now it has been assigned, and unassigning goes the same way. Go to members and the card members, click of the name again, and this will unassign you again. So, but now I want to join this card. And then here in the description, there are already some points that help you to prepare the card. So double check if the BGC card is on the board or in MIBiG. So we did this. We can delete this point. Add a descriptive name to the card, the product name. Yes, we did this. And the references to the card. Yes, we can do this either with DOI or PubMed ID. DOI is preferred. So, but yeah, let's make something up, right? Just for this hypothetical example. Add any notes important for entry. Well, it's a hypothetical entry. Check if you have been assigned to the card. Yes, I was. And add more specific checklist items if necessary. And this I have to do because currently the checklist only tells about information specific for NRPS VGCs. And here I can simply add a card and say information specific to PKS VGCs at the card. Oops. And move it up here. Now, the next step would be first contributor submission. Yes, we need an MIBiG UID, and we get this right away. So having prepared this minimal information here, I could also add maybe the strain name, Streptomyces non-existensis A1. Strain identifier is very important. I have now prepared the card for further use, for further work. And now I move it into in progress to make sure that everybody sees I am working on this card. This is being worked on. I clear the filters just to make sure that everything is all right. And now I can start creating this new entry by using the MIBiG Submission Portal. So I've opened already here. And as I said, this is currently a prototype, and probably it's going to look a little bit different, but the concept will stay the same. So now we have the choice between either editing an existing entry, I will show this later, and submitting a new entry, and I will do this now. So then this gives me the so-called UID, a temporary MIBiG identifier, and this is very important. This is a very important number. It will probably look a little bit different later, but it will be in the same place, and this number you have to take care of. So best to copy it right away and add this to the Trello board here, to the entry. Because without this information, without this UID, the entry that you are preparing cannot be found by anybody else. And that will be a big waste of time, because the other contributors or also the reviewers need to be able to find the entry. So always make sure to copy this UID and place it in here in the description. So now, first of all, I have to add information for creating a minimal entry. So the minimum information that is needed about this bioscientific gene cluster. And first of all, I have to specify a genome identifier, and that must be a gene bank accession number. So no ref-seq, no other identifiers, only a GeneBank accession. I can find this in the GeneBank entry. And in this case, it's a different entry. It's about a whole gene cluster, but here is the information that we need here. So GeneBank ID is AY and so on. And we copy and paste this in here. Then we have to provide the start and the stop coordinates, the start and the end coordinates of this location. And in this case, since this is a whole biased gene cluster, we can simply take the complete entry, and this is from basis 1 to 138,000. And I also copy paste this, so it starts at 1 and ends at 138,000. These may also be left empty if the gene cluster spans the entire record, as written also here. Well, second information is adding information about the biosynthetic classes of this entry. In this case, this would be a hybrid BGC, and in this case, I have to select both NRPS and PKS by holding Control or the Command key, as written here, depending on your operation system. So I go Control and NRPS and PKS. Then products. Well, we know of one product here, and this is Vancomycin A. And here we have to provide the evidence. This can be usually found in the method section of the reporting paper, and the evidence methods are written here. For example, in this case, let's assume this was heterogeneously expressed. And we also provide the citation. This can be a DOI, but also a PubMed ID. And let's make up the PubMed ID for this hypothetical scenario. Then the completeness are all genes needed for production of compounds present. I assume, yes, it is a complete BGC. I would say incomplete or unknown if, for example, satellite genes would be missing, or if I simply wouldn't know. But let's assume this is complete. Then the species name, and as we said before, this is Streptomyces non-existensis A1, and also always include the strain identifier. That is very important because otherwise we don't know the exact strain this BGC was found in. Any additional comments? It's a hypothetical entry. And by pressing submit, I have all the information that I needed, and this minimal entry was created successfully. So this is the first part of our job here. And the second part is to go back to the Trello board, open the card again, and say, yes, I have added the minimum information that is necessary to create this entry. I also have to add the label. I forgot to also add the PKS label. I will do this right away. And then show more labels and minimal edit. So now everybody can see that I've created this entry and I've added the minimum information needed. Well, now let's say I have enough of vancomycin. I don't want to continue working on this. So I'll be simply unassigning myself and leave it to anybody who wants to continue with that. Well, after doing some reading, I've found a paper that reports the bioactivity of vancomycin. Well, that is nice, and I look at the Trello board again, and I see nobody has claimed vancomycin. Let's assume somebody has claimed vancomycin. Well, then I would have to communicate with this person, asking how long they need this entry reserved. Have they stopped working on it, and so on. Don't just unassign people. Always make sure that this process is being done by communicating with the respective collaborators. But in this case, it's free, it's empty, and I can assign myself again by just joining the card. Now I have reserved it again, and I start working on vancomycin again. So first of all, I need this user ID here. I will copy it, close it again, and then I will go to the submission portal and reload. And now I'm again on the starting page where I can add or here enter and the UID and click on edit existing entry. And now I'm adding here biological activity. And as you can see, vancomycin, so the compound name has already been pre-populated because that was stored previously. So now I will add an assay. Let's assume that this has an antibacterial activity at a concentration of 128 micrograms per milliliter. So this was observed, the activity was observed. And in the future, we will also have an option here that specifies at which concentration this was found. Well, this is everything that I can add here. Let's go to submit. And this information was then stored. At this point, well, I don't find anything about vancomycin anymore. Let's assume this is a very new compound. There wasn't so much work on it, so there's basically no more information about this compound. And this is fine. This is perfectly fine. So in this case, well, first of all, I have to add what I've just done. I've added biological activity, and I will also add the corresponding label. It's even suggested by activity was added. Well, and then I say, okay, there is no more information available, right? What should we do? We will go and simply remove the information here, or the checklist items. Well, and say this has been completed. We unassign ourselves again. And now move this this card of vancomycin into the to review list. And there it sits until a reviewer has time to pick it up. Let's assume we are this reviewer. Of course, never review your own entries. It doesn't make sense, right? But let's assume in this hypothetical scenario that yes, we are a reviewer, and here we see vancomycin. We've heard about that recently reported compound, NRPS, PKS, bioactivity was added. Yes, this is my expertise. I will join this card as a review. Now I move this into review, and now I'm conducting the review. Also, the reviewers can have their own checkbox list here and can tick off the boxes. And yeah, so I review minimum information. Well, there was no information available about these other things. I also verified that. But biological activity and structure activity relationships, oh yeah, so I found an error here, a grave mistake that I cannot fix myself because this activity wasn't really reported. This was reported maybe for a different compound, and the person who created this entry mistook this. We have to resolve this, and this would justify a revision. So what we are doing now is we will move this into revision here and try to find out who has done this mistake. There is an activity log here in the bottom. Sometimes it's hidden, but these details can be shown. And I see that who has completed the minimum information. Okay. So yeah, Matthias Doles completed biological activity and structure activity relationship on this card. Well, now I know who's responsible for this mistake, and I will seek out this person using Slack or also one of the coordinators, and politely tell them about this error and that this was a mistake and has to be fixed. After this process has been completed and the revision was made, the checkbox items can be ticked off. I, as a reviewer, unassign myself again and say, yes, this has been finished, and now it's going into the done list. And with that, we have created our first entry. So I hope everything was clear. Let me know if anything needs additional explanations. Take a look at the protocols, and yeah, remember to have fun, of course, and I'll be seeing you at the MIBiG Annotathons. Bye-bye.